Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about a step-by-step strategy your students can use to identify and analyze symbols in any book or any movie. I'm going to illustrate this strategy using K-pop Demon Hunters because a lot of students are really into that right now. But if you're watching this way in the future or your students are not into that movie, this strategy can still be used with any book, any movie, any poem. And I've created a symbolism analysis graphic organizer that can guide your students through each step of this process. So if you are interested in having that, please click the link in the description box below and you can get it for free. I think our students can understand that symbols are shapes that represent deeper meanings, and they tend to know some of the common symbols like the heart representing love or darkness represents mystery. But the problem is that in stories, authors can use anything as a symbol. So first, start out by explaining to your students that symbols can be any object, person, setting, or even dialogue that holds a deeper meaning to the story. The first step to identifying symbols in a story is figuring out what repeats. So think of the three little pigs. Elements that are repeated in that story are the pigs. So you could argue that the pigs themselves are a symbol. What are they a symbol of? I don't know, maybe learning from your mistakes or knowledge or consistent growth. In Harry Potter, something that is consistently repeating throughout the story is Harry's scar. Not only is it literally on his face, but the author continually brings it up in the story and describes how it causes him pain. So that is a repeating object in the story, a repeating element. And often when you see a repeating element in a story, it can be a symbol. So just like Harry's scar in the Harry Potter series, in K-pop Demon Hunters, a repeating element is Rumi's patterns. In fact, all of the demons have those patterns. So we're going to write that down as a repetitive element. We also have the repetition of the stage because multiple characters in the movie perform on stage. The stage is a huge element to that movie. We also have the repetition of the Hanmun, which is that web of protection that separates the demon world from the real world. Step 2 is to write a complete sentence explaining how that symbol makes an emotional impact on the character. That's how you know that the object you've selected in a story is actually a symbol, because it makes an impact on the character's feeling. So an example of an incorrect symbol would be maybe Rumi's hair. Students might say, okay, well, Rumi has purple hair and that repeats throughout the movie. But does Rumi's hair make any impact on how she's feeling? No. Or the ramen noodles, that is repeated throughout the movie. The characters are eating them, but does it make a big emotional impact on anyone in the story? No. So those two things are not symbols. Yes, they repeat, but there's no emotional impact there. These symbols, however, do make an impact on the character's emotions. So we're going to make a sentence to prove it. Let's write down Rumi's patterns make her feel ashamed. The stage makes Huntrix feel like they can defeat the demon world and protect the real world through music. The breaking of the Hanmun makes Huntrix feel panicked about the people of the world being in danger. Step number 3 is to underline the symbol in that sentence that you just created. Here comes the harder part, identifying the abstract idea that that symbol represents. Let's brainstorm that Rumi's patterns represent feeling different or standing out. And now let's put those words in place of the symbol and read it. And ask yourself, does it make sense? So instead of saying Rumi's patterns make her feel ashamed, I'm going to say feeling different makes Rumi feel ashamed. Yes, I think that is accurate and I think that works. But what if your students say that the patterns represent demons? Now let's take the word demons and insert that in place of the symbol that we had written earlier. Now it says, demons make Rumi feel ashamed. Demons make Rumi feel ashamed. That's not quite right. And I think your students will see that right away. And that's how they know that Rumi's patterns do not represent just demons. It's a little deeper than that. Now let's try it with the stage. Maybe the stage represents expressing how you feel. So instead of stage, let's put in expressing how they feel. Expressing how they feel makes Huntrix feel like they can defeat the demon world. Okay, that makes sense. But what if we put in dancing? What if your students say the stage represents dancing? So let's put in the word dancing in our sentence and see if it makes sense. Dancing makes Huntrix feel like they can defeat the demon world. I don't think that's really what drives the characters. It's not just the dancing that makes them feel like they can defeat everyone. So that doesn't quite work there. And for the Hanmun, it represents healing and protection. The breaking of the protection makes Huntrix feel panicked about the people of the world being in danger. I hope this strategy helps your students with a step-by-step scaffolded way to approach symbolism instead of just guessing about what a symbol is. If you enjoyed this process, please click the link below and you will get the free graphic organizer to guide this lesson straight to your email. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.